Hey, hello? Is this working?
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
I hear you. Oops, total dark here. I'm trying a different setup. I'm tired of seeing my room behind me. Uh, let's see if this works. How you doing, Achilles? It's nice to. I'm sorry about being late. You
Oh
know,
no, it's fine. It was let's see, side by side
my
standard.
computer's giving me a hard time with that webcam. Uh,
Oh,
let's
so are you not on the desktop now?
So I am, but I just turned so that I can go on that chair that you had a picture with my cat, and you said this doesn't look good.
Oh, yes, that wonderful.
But let's see. I don't see myself. Maybe I should stop sharing. I was just sharing because. Hold on. How do I do this?
Let's see. Yeah, because like I don't see myself, but I do see you. Let's see. Now okay, there we go.
Let's try and vary. Let me just adapt this. Okay. Hide self. So we're streaming live, by the way. I like that. And you said I was tired of seeing my bed behind me in my background. Oh my gosh!
Well, and
Now you see my.
I have a different background too because my house is empty for the first time in a year. So uh so I'm actually able to be in the dining room.
How's that? Is that better?
What is that? A horse?
I don't know. My wife bought that thing. It's actually I like it.
It looks like something from the Lion King, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the
That works.
so for the website, I read all of your email, and I pulled the pictures. We're
Oh
live.
yeah.
We're live, so I can't. I'm not going to show the pictures as it stands right now. But
Right.
for when it comes to the pictures, I pulled stuff together so that there's something for the baby warriors, there's something for the alt French workshop, and there's something for the Jedi's and casual Saturdays, right?
Right.
There's something else that was there that I thought, oh, maybe I could use this for like the Facebook lives.
Right.
I'll have to show you those later. You can tell me what you think for that. But when I read through the emails, I only saw one person saying, yes, you have permission. So
we just got recently Luda's permission. DVS permission was recent.
okay.
It's just that they they didn't see my posts. They were not
Right. And so right now they're not, I didn't put the pictures on the site because I haven't gotten any approval.
Oh yeah, and I told Luda, so she said, yeah, I agree. But how do I know which one? So I told her that you and I would that I did that dump of all these pictures.
Right.
And then I requested. I also sent messages to folks from Meetup, for example, Andrew, if you hear me, great guy from Argentina.
I'll email you those 4 things that I created.
Well, you can put it on Rise so that they see it.
Well, I'll put it on Rise too. They might see it, they might not.
Right. I'll show them during a session. So
okay,
I'll show them so that they're aware, and then they can have a second thought, because one thing is, I agree on the principle, and then, I want to see the picture, and that particular picture, I want to be okay with it.
Right. And there's one that I actually mixed two different ones together, because I think it was Diane that was like, hey, this one is a better one of me smiling. then this other one, whatever. So you'll see what those pictures look like, and then I'll put them on there.
Yeah, put them on Rise on Lounge, so it's not public, you know.
Right.
It's,
So that'll put in
members,
Rise. And
members who have paid their subscription.
yes.
I'm thinking about, unfortunately, one person who is still so stubborn. And if you hear me out there, you know, I'm sorry for the situation. You know, on my end, I did all my best. You know, I see the evidence everywhere. If there was a confusion, even then, I did my best to clarify. But if you still were not sure, you know, it's just at some point the world, you know, the universe has some type of physical material consistency, and just ignoring that will be in trouble, unfortunately. I mean, I don't want that.
We'll hope.
I mean, I don't want that. I'm the one receiving, and you know, there. Anyways, let's not talk about that.
Okay, so
But I really don't want that.
now there's four,
And for me,
there's four things that I need to get cleared up. Right now, the website, the way it stands right now, is that your pages are formatted, and if they were to look at it on the phone, they're also formatted correctly.
oh, that's great.
Yes,
Good job.
when I went through,
I know I wasn't a lot of help,
but no, I'm saying it's just something that takes a lot of time. But what happens now is that anything that I go put on one of those pages is going to, it's not a quick fix, right? I'll have to put certain things. So when we are going to put something on the page, we'll just have to make sure that what we're putting on there is very clear and agreed upon, understood, so we won't have to go back and change it some more.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example,
I need to do that. I need to do that work of reviewing every page and probably tweaking it and being okay.
But there's one, the first page is one that you don't see on the site yet. It's not there yet, which is the issue of the bios. Okay, so
what's that? The bios?
The bios, the biographies.
Oh, biographies. Okay, yeah.
So, I read all this. I read all this stuff.
I dumped that on you, really, like. So you gave me something to do, an assignment. I got out of the shower and I just dumped every thought I had about me. And then the next day, you know, it was Isabel's. So I did that as well. Like I got it and I just, so
now,
it's really raw material.
This is the thing about that particular page, is that I agree with you that it should not be a resume. That's not the purpose of the page.
Right.
Okay. And if you, because there are some people, like you said, with that other website you were talking about, like some people don't have their bios there.
Right, the Alt MBA said,
right. They don't have the
18 bestsellers or something.
Well, and here's the thing: when you have 18 bestsellers, you don't need a bio because
right.
Bestsellers.
But still, I think, you know, folks, and that Isabel also told me that, and she's got, you know, a very good, like a large, extensive experience. Folks are not really interested in your resume. They're interested in whether you're competent, whether you know their problem, and you know how to fix it. You've been there before. You've done it before. You've got a track record of success. And...
Okay, no, let me stop you right there, because you said the same thing about Isabel. You said her track record speaks for herself.
Yeah.
What track record? If I can't read a bio, how do I know what your track record is? That makes no sense.
Right.
Now, you know what you're bringing to the table. She knows what she's bringing to the table. But if I am some guy, Peter Smalltime, and I'm like thinking about learning French, and I go into this website, there's three things that people brand new going to a website care about. Number one is, what am I going to learn? The classes, the courses, and all that stuff. And you say that's the competency of the classes and stuff. People want to know. That's number one. I agree. Number two are the prices. How much is this going to cost? So I agree.
So we're going to put that on also on the online.
Number three,
for everyone to see. competitors who are not competitors, everybody.
The third thing that people are going to care about is going to be who the instructors.
I mean, the prices were already there, just for the notice, like
on the website.
people, not like once they were invited to Rise, they had to, type in their credit card, click on monthly cost, just for the record here, and the price was there. But yeah, now it's going to be completely without invitation, like public.
Okay. And just like with those prices, because the thing is, some people don't want to do that work only to find out that it's too expensive, or
exactly, yeah.
Or they might say, "Oh, it's probably too expensive. I'm not going to bother." And if they had seen it, they would be like, "Oh my God, this is great, totally worth
right." And it takes time, to sink in whether you want to make that investment. I recall, stumbling on Seth Godin's Alt MBA website, and I saw the price and all of that. I didn't subscribe from scratch. He did all of his email marketing campaign. He did the work of testimonial and all of that, and bit by bit he convinced me, and then eventually. But I knew the price from the get-go.
Right. And for some people, the price is the determining factor. For a lot of people, it's that way, which is fine. There's no problem with that.
Right, and you might change your mind. And also you might really understand the value of the experience after the experience. Even you take you subscribe, you pay, you do this, and after the experience, you've got all of these benefits that overweight, because that's always like this. I don't want to be I want to give more value than I receive. It's just an exchange of value. It's just.
I understand the sentiment behind it, but when by putting the price up front, I think I've always been in favor of that. I think when you go to a restaurant and you don't see the prices of the food,
exactly,
it causes suspicion.
It's also a message. It's sending the message that, are you ashamed, or is there something wrong with this?
Correct.
Or no. Are you afraid of competition or stuff? I mean,
so my question to you then is, if someone goes on this website and they see what these classes, courses, group sessions, whatever you want to call it, they see what all of that entails, what's involved in it, and they see the cost, right? They see those prices. Great. What about the people who are then wondering, well, who is going to be my instructor? What are they supposed to know about?
Well, do it. I agree with you. Do it.
You say do it, but then the question is, do what exactly?
Because
this is what surprised me. Okay, the resume part, I'm not saying it should be like that, but the page that would be like about us, or the instructors, whatever the thing is called. Every time we go on to do one of these Zooms, you always, at some point in time, you get very passionate about what it is that you are doing and bringing to the table. That's what this page is for. The page is to really relay the message. And yet you're saying, my track record speaks for itself. I said, but
Isabel,
it has to be your credentials. I think that's where you're getting confused. It doesn't have to be the credentials, although I think that that's somewhat important. It's not the credentials. It's like, what is your mission statement?
What do you think of what I wrote about our bios? I can read it here, or you can share whatever I wrote.
I have the okay, I think it's.
Let me see.
I have one. I have a document that I call Rafa's belief system. So, is that the one that starts with? He says that my bio are not important. Is that what you're talking about?
All right. First of all, I have to say that I believe in competency over resume. I don't believe in resume. My bio goes as follows in a few ideas. Went to kindergarten in Anglo-Saxon kindergarten, resented not being able to continue that bilingual teaching through primary school, but I know things happen for me, not at me, so thank you, universe. Second point, missed 6 months of primary school because I was in Brazil, but it was worth all the issues in French of my entire life. Amazing trip, amazing experience for a child, Thank you, mom. Third point, had orthography, it's like misspelling, grammar issues throughout middle school, but managed to cover these issues while not addressing them and doing well otherwise. Entre parentheses, mathematics. So without resolving my French issues. Fourth point, scored 12 over 20 written exam in French and 16 over 20 oral exam in French at baccalaureate, even though still had misspelling issues in French. Fifth point, went to same boarding school as the current French president. That's you here. You give me that idea. Emmanuel Macron, except he was in literature and I was an engineer. Next point, failed engineering and started over in business boarding school where I made a point of honor to catch up with my French gaps this time and was successful somehow in doing so, scoring 17 over 20 in philosophical essay at the competitive exam for Grande École. More precisely, I received 18 minus 1 for misspelling a few things, grammar. Very competitive exam though. Next point, led all levels, French, Français langue étrangère, French for foreigners, for Mokoy, a French gathering club in bars and restaurants for 3 months. Next point, gave 100 free conversational classes during COVID using Meetup and Zoom. Did I mention 100% free and 100 of them? Next point, launched the Help French workshop with 2 per level groups, one of 7 students and one of 3 students. Failed because focused too much on by the book and Ruby group was too big. Next point, launched Baby Warrior group led by Isabel. Huge success ongoing, results will speak for themselves. Next point, launch Ruby limited to 4 with Isabel intervention once per month. 20 hours of space for you to show up in French and experience what it takes to become fluent without focusing on the arrival line. Ongoing, that I consider a huge success. Results will speak for themselves. Present time at Achilles Yeldell.
Okay. And in that entire biography,
Yeah.
the most important detail is not even in there, which is why did you start my French community?
All right. So I think that you can see it. You can see it throughout you know, that timeline that I gave you.
Okay, is this timeline where you tell me more precisely, I received 18 minus 1 for misspelling a few things / grammar, very competitive exam though. Okay, then the next line, led all level sessions for Mokai or Mokoi, whatever, a French gathering club,
right,
in bars and restaurants for 3 months. Between those two things, somehow, some way, you started teaching people to speak in French, giving them that experience, right?
So yeah, that experience.
This doesn't tell me exactly how that happened, and it doesn't tell me like why are you doing this? What
right.
inspired you to do this?
Several things
in that biography.
Yeah, several things. As you can see throughout my timeline, you know, I come from a multicultural background. So at home, my folks would speak to me in French and in Spanish. I would speak to my grandfather from my mom's side in French, even though that was in a Spanish-speaking country, Argentina.
Okay.
There is something with you know, throughout my high school, let's say,
high school.
And up until boarding school, I kept that misspelling in French, even though my mother was a French teacher. So I think that first off, this was also for me. There were different dimensions, but one of them is for me to actually complete what I had started back in boarding school, because I scored 17, 18 minus 1 at the competitive exam in philosophical essay, and I can share that essay. I was proud of that because before that I sucked, and it's a miracle that I got these grades in French in baccalaureate.
But how did you get those grades? Huh? How did you get those great. You said it's a miracle, but like,
Well, yeah, well, 12 over 20 is okay. It's not, this. So in the French system, you need to get 10 to pass. So
you barely passed.
so I passed. 12 is, I think 12 is, there's a mention. It's like the lowest mention. Then it's 14, and then it's 16. There's 3 mentions. Very good is 16 and above, or 18. I forgot. I think it's 12, 16. I'm getting old. But the point is, so I managed to get 12. I don't know how, honestly. Maybe, but and in boarding school, I managed to get the highest grade, but was still making a few misspelling mistakes that cost me 1 point. So that was kind of a personal a challenge for me to bridge that gap and to take that into my own hands. So when I started teaching here with Mokoy, and Alex, if you hear us, you guys are doing a fantastic job. And
how did you start teaching with
my wife? So my wife wanted to learn French. So I meet that amazing guy called Alex at a bar here, and he's teaching French. And I'm saying, man, this is great what you're doing. This is really great what you're doing. There's something there for you to develop. And this guy is an entrepreneur. He's the operational manager for a kind of like a boutique franchise of French bakeries around here. I think they have 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and they were expanding before COVID and delivering croissant in Manhattan and all of that. He's doing an amazing job, but he wants to do his own thing. So I'm like, I want to help you. I have that entrepreneurial drive in me, and so I'm just saying, okay, let me lead the classes for you, because he was doing so much with his other job. He was overwhelmed, and so at the beginning, he coached me a little bit, and then he saw that I was capable. Just let me, entire freedom to lead that.
And when you saw that he had something there, your entrepreneurial mindset, right? Which,
yeah,
to be fair, I'm sure there's a lot of things that you see that you're like, oh, that would be a good business to have. This is something that'd be really great. But what was it about that situation that made you feel like this is something that I would want to participate in doing?
So there was a drive for me to bridge that gap completely, like to completely master what my mother mastered. Like I was tired of her, telling me, hey, here, you're making a mistake here and there, and tired of being a victim, blaming the fact that I had traveled as a teenage, as a little boy, and didn't take these grammar classes or whatever, that made me to not, take that into my hands, into my own power. So that thing, also like the social dimension. It was great to meet all these people from Molkoy who made tremendous progress in French throughout the years, only with that format, which is only 1 hour several times a week, and all levels are welcomed, which is very, very challenging to make progress in that environment, according to me, because not only for the coach who has to bridge the gaps between all the levels and all of that, not only because you don't get so much time, because sometimes it's a group of 10 people, so there's so mathematically you have less time to speak, but also for the learner, like, so not from the coach perspective, but for the learner, and they still have made so much progress. Kudos to them. So lots of amazing people. Mike, if you hear me, yeah. And then when I did it myself with the Zoom classes, I continued that all level thing, and then concluded I needed, if I wanted them to make really more progress, like efficiently, I needed a per level. And then I worked this book I work these books really, and the best way to learn is to teach. So everybody can do it. And yeah. So three reasons. Three reasons. The entrepreneurial reason that I love that journey of building a business. The my personal reason of bridging completely that gap, of understanding all the grammar rules, why it is like this, why it is like that, like mastering it, and to the point that I'm able to teach it in a way that won't fail. And obviously, French has these grammar rules with all these exceptions that at some point, you have to decide whether you want to become an érudit, right? You want to know all these exceptions or not. And it's not my goal. And I don't think it's a goal of someone who wants to learn French either. Yeah, they want to know, the normal layer, like and not making mistakes and being elegant. But, being at the Académie, l'Académie Française, like an author and all of that. I love that too. I went into that too. I saw all these books, obviously, that are not appropriate for this type of public, but books that are teaching French writers, to actually write better. That French writers make mistakes. They make lots of mistakes, actually, that a normal French person would not be able to detect.
And so when you,
I don't think, am I convincing you? You don't look convinced.
Here's the thing, is that when someone is creating the goal of somebody sharing their biography, okay,
yeah.
It's like when you go on a date. All right. If you go on a date and it's obviously to get to know each other, you could talk all kinds of things about your life and explain, this is my life in terms of all the different things I went through at school, or this is my life in terms of how I dealt with my family, or this is my life in all the places that I've lived. There's different ways that you can explain, what your history is. But when you're on a date, you are giving them the history that you feel will get them to like you and trust you.
And right. So I'm not convinced about that. That's the problem, because I think that they will be convinced by the others when they see Luda becoming fluent, when they see Diane becoming fluent, when they see Divya becoming fluent, Emmanuel becoming fluent, Nilay becoming fluent, Shambi becoming fluent.
Rafa, they're not gonna see any of these people getting fluent if they never take the class. This is an introductory thing. This is something that is introducing them to those classes.
Right, so but that's why I told you, look at Seth Godin's website. He's not talking about his resume. On his website, you see a whole bunch of people who've taken the Alt MBA and then tell you how it changed them, what results it brought in their life.
Well, you know what? I agree with you 100%. So why don't you give me the video of all those people that take your classes, and I'll use that instead. But right now, you're not giving me video, and
I'm planning to do that. I'm planning to do exactly that. A video where in English, because let's target English. English. A lot of people, I would say,
are speaking
but
English.
The ones that work with me, they speak English fluently, and I asked them, let's do this. We do a one-on-one 20-minute interview, and we share about what's your experience. And
that's true. People would care more about that, hearing about from the people who take the class, than they would reading your bio or hearing you. That's true.
And also, the problem with the bio, actually, let me just kind of put the nail even harder, is it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I do. What matters is what they do. I mean, of course it matters to some point what I do. But if you go to a class and you sit in the back of the class, you might be in a class where you have this genius, mathematic genius who has the Fields medal, right? Honors. But and you might be in the proper class that will help you with the current skills, and it might be the right method, it might be the right everything. If you do nothing about it, you won't get anything from it.
Okay, I understand and I agree. So you know what? We won't put the bio up, and we'll just wait for these videos that when you give them to me. And in the meantime, your website will have nothing. As far as bios or testimonials, there won't be anything there. Which to me, I think that's a mistake, but it's not my business. It's yours.
I'm not saying we shouldn't put it. I mean, if you want, we can. I mean,
it has to be something that you want. It can't be what I want. It has to be something you want.
I trust you.
Only you
I
know.
trust you.
Only you know. If I had my choice between Rafa talking and all of the members of the community talking, I will go with the community.
No, let's do a bio, but it's just that with Isa, what I shared about her bio, also from memory. This was from memory. I did zero research. Also from memory, from Isa, she was kind of uncomfortable sharing her bio, even though I think her bio is great, but maybe, and she agrees that we should put something. So you both agree that we should put something. So let's put something. Let's put something. And I give you these two timelines, of Isa's bios and mine. And I trust you, with whatever you want to offer. And if Isa is fine with it, we can just put it out there.
Okay. I'll put.
Because I've had some good feedback, especially from Divya, maybe Luda. Like, they said, "Oh, I've learned so much from that landline." Allowing, say, also the way I'm telling the truth there. So it's very almost, it's my truth at least. It might be useful to some. It might not be to others. That's fine. But however you want me to tweak that or give you more data, you just tell me and let's do it.
All right. I'm just gonna put together a couple sentences for each of you. I'm gonna sit there with your photo, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. When it comes to people's bios, they have to do that for themselves. I can't represent someone else for them. Now, I will tell you this. If I were going to be taking a French class, if I wanted to learn French, and I went onto a website, I know what I would be looking for, and I know how I would assess things. And
I get your point. I think it's important that they are comfortable with the coach. I think
coach. And here's the thing: like, I wouldn't. There's some people who I know that if they told me they were teaching a French class or whatever kind of class, I would not encourage them to put a bio, because I don't think their bio would help them, because I don't think that their personality would be able to match it well. Some people don't have a good bio, but in your case, the idea of having an instructor who has had personal experience with coming from a multicultural background, and struggling in terms of French with things like grammar and so forth, even though his mother is a professional instructor. That is something that is highly attractive to someone who's trying to learn, because this tells me I'm not going to be learning French from someone which is the message you've always told me you wanted to get across, is that you're not I'm a know-it-all teacher. I know everything. Listen to how I say it. I'm going to correct you every single time, blah, blah. You're not going to do that. The fact that I would love to have an instructor that can relate to how hard it is to try to learn, not any language, but the French language. So that sets you apart from other people. In that sense, I feel like 5 is a good one. The fact that you were doing this course in person at bars and clubs, that you like that actual engagement with people, that also sets you apart from who? Those instructors that are all over YouTube, which is fine how they want to do it, but all they're going to do is talk to the camera, record that video, and send it to you, and that's it. So your bio has a lot of great stuff there, but I'm not here to convince you that your bio is worth something.
You sold me. You sold me. And to your point, Achilles, also Isa's bio is the opposite, because Isa, I think I can share that. He will not blame me for sharing that. When she got her baccalaureate back in her days, only 4 folks in her class had passed the baccalaureate, and for the first time, obviously. And she was 17, so she was 1 year in advance, or 16, I don't know. But and she got it with honors. So she's the opposite of me in French. You know, I was in the scientific section, so my French skills, even though it's a miracle, I got actually kind of honors because of the oral. The oral part, I got a good grade. 16 over 20. My mathematics skills compensated, and to be honest, it was a bit disappointing. My performance at that time was, because I don't like exams, to be honest, but whatever. I was able to compensate my French gaps with my mathematics and other stuff that had a greater weight on. But my mom Isabel, sorry, had she was the opposite. She excelled, and from the get-go. So to your point, depending on who you are, you might be somebody that actually wants Isabel's experience rather than Rafa's.
Well, what you do want is to find out that, this is 2 people who are very different in age, in terms of their approach, in terms of their experience. One is more traditional and has a very structured background in education and how to teach French and has all this professional criteria. And then there's the other one who's very much with the social engagement, who has been teaching the classes, started off in the bars and clubs. So whatever your mindset, whichever kind of student you want to be, you have these 2 very different instructors that not only are you going to like one or the other more, right? But there's something incredibly exciting about the fact that these 2 people are teaching together.
When I have to say also that what's exciting, excuse me to cut you off, but what's exciting is also not only the coaches who are also there to learn from you, because we're such in a small group, 4 people, but the others that are with you, that are, I've been learning from Luda, from Divya, from Diane.
Yes, but
Shambi has taught me a lot. And you definitely you.
I fight this particular fight with except for one. There's one I didn't have to fight with, but every client except for one I had to fight with, in the sense that I'm going to use one who is a baker, okay, and she's amazing. Yeah. Known her for a long time. She finds out she's going to do this for a living, and it was such a fight for me to get her to recognize that she needed to increase her prices, that she needed to, know kind of what her value and so forth, or whatever. And that she's like, no, but it's this, that's what I said, that's all well and good. And the same thing for you is that I do understand the value and the importance of showcasing the community, and that the people who are learning from you, you're learning from them. And all that is very important. This specific issue is about you and Isa.
Right.
Everybody else, they matter and so forth, but that is not what we're talking about right now. It's how are you guys being showcased? Because you guys do have something really exciting, something real that has a lot of value to it. Because think of it this way: suppose it was just you, okay? Or let's just say, for example, just Isa, because Isa does the baby warriors, right?
Yes.
So if she's doing the baby warriors, and
she comes once with the Ruby, once per month
for the Ruby. But let's suppose there's no Rafa. If it was just Isa, right? And she goes ahead, and all of these baby warriors, they reach their point, and now they get to graduate, right? Or move on to the next level, and then they become diamonds.
Yes.
And then Isa's teaching them as diamonds. And then they become rubies. So Isa's teaching them. They are having still a great education and learning and so forth. But there is something very different about the fact that if you go from one level to another, and you're getting a very different type of environment, vibe, instructor and so forth. This enriches your education when you have different types.
Right. I'm giving a 1 hour per week on the weekends to the baby warriors on Saturdays. So and it's purely fun. It's purely fun. You know, it's Google Translate tool thing. So
Okay.
so yeah, it's not only Isa, it's also me
And
with
then
the baby warriors.
wait, both of you are in the same session?
No, she's not there. No. Isa is teaching twice per week now
Right.
during the week, and then I'm teaching once per week in the weekend, casual Saturday. I mean, not casual Saturday. On Saturday, baby wire. And we're doing the fun, only fun. Like no, and now Nila is understanding everything that Isa says when Isa talks to me. So wow, you know, it's great.
All right. So
They
that,
work.
I'll write something small for you guys for your bio. And then if and when you and Isa get inspired to do something a bit more solid, I'll put it on there. But all I can say is that is something that is a tool that you guys have that's really in your favor that I think could be more. The thing with the prices, I guess you would just send me what those prices are. And that's going to have its own separate page on the website.
Yeah.
Do you
yeah, so the whole point of the website is to filter down and give as much as information and give as much steps for anybody who's interested in leveling up in French to see if this is a good fit for them, so that when they start talking to me, I don't need to do all of that job. They already have a good understanding. It's stupid for me to hide that from people, especially when, you know.
And time is of the essence, because here's the thing: they might be looking and be interested, and they try to reach out to you, but you're busy doing, let's say, casual Saturdays, right? Because you are an instructor, you're doing.
I'm busy.
So if there's a question that they wanted to ask that they can't get answered from the website, who knows? They might look somewhere else and go somewhere else. So the website should have as much information as possible, which brings me to the third item, which was the application.
However, I'm going to say that I'm so happy when folks just read through that information, which right now is not well organized yet, and join a session. I'm so happy to take half an hour and speak with them and get to know about them. That's something I really enjoy. So yeah, but I'd rather reserve that time for me to know about them and their objectives rather than teaching them about.
It's funny you should say that, because if someone is going to reach out to you, if someone's going to try to call or email you, what would help them being willing to do that would be a nice little bio where they were like, oh yeah, he does seem nice. I think I will go ahead and email him. That's the difference between whether they reach out or not, is knowing who is going to be on the other end of that.
Yeah, that's also great, because when they reach out and they've been through and they've come to a session for free, so they already know me, and that's great.
They know you if there was a decent bio. Yes, the more you put in the bio, the more you allow them to do the talking when you guys do actually speak to each other.
Right. You're right. And to your point, I'm just saying that it feels great when because when I coach, I get to lead, especially when there's a beginner. I lead more when there's a new person, not beginner. When there's a new person, I have that job of coaching them and making sure they're
like the host of a party, and somebody shows up.
Yes, exactly, like a host of a party.
No, believe me, I've had to do that many times.
So, I'm sure you've had, but so they already experienced for free that first session, that first taste, and they kind of know me by then, and then we talk, and then I can concentrate on them even more so if they can get all that information without me.
What is the application? Because you mentioned that in some of those emails, and that
I'm shouting a little bit. Sorry.
What is it that you want the application process to be like? Is there an application that they're supposed to fill out and send to you?
That's a great question.
I saw the things on Rise and some of the emails that you put in there.
That's a great question. So in order for me to know them more, they can even do that by filling in a form.
Right. Where's that form? In Rise?
So I just looked at how others were doing it, like the Alt MBA, or Clotilde Dussolier's website, or we can look at Brooke Castillo. She's a life coach. And basically the websites, the goal of the website is to lay out that information in a compelling way, and for them to give them all the arguments for them to decide whether or not it's a good fit for them. And if it is, then they would be led to feelings, to reach out. And the way they can do that is, because our groups are so limited, we can also put that information up front of how many spots are available. They can tell us about them, and how they think it's a good match, and then I can still hop go on a call with them and learn about them, and just
So what is it that you would like for the website, for example, to provide? Like, they click on a link and then this thing, a form pops up that they can fill out and send it to you?
Look at, for example, it's altmba.com, and then the way it's designed, there is the menu, and right in the corner, the right corner, it says apply. And so in apply, they have, which session are you applying to? So it's also, that's good that we're transitioning to this, because I've had this conversation with Isa that we have to have kind of like more of a structure of, holidays, and a bit like a school. Let's say that, during the summer there are holidays, maybe. That's her suggestion, that from June to September, maybe, the class just end, or maybe there's a break after 6 months or something.
Okay, that was the fourth item, so we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. So
looking at the Alt MBA's application, okay,
yeah,
where it shows the tuition, the deadline, the
reply. Yeah. So up until now, I was just accepting folks who thought it was a good fit for them, and obviously after having that call with them, of making sure of that. That's also my role of making sure that I'm creating a group of friends that can learn from each other. The Jedi group is different from the Ruby, and probably also from the, by designs, they're also per level.
All right, wait. So let me ask you, because I'm looking at this application thing now. Which session are you applying for? So this is something that you and Isa are discussing right now, in terms of like there being these sessions, like semesters type thing.
Yeah, we're discussing about that. So obviously it's per level. So you would choose which level. Obviously, other schools, like there are lots of fantastic schools out there that you can. Here in New York, there's one from Alliance Française. They're doing a fantastic work. Obviously, they're more expensive than the Al French workshop.
The levels I have, but those time frames, that is something that you don't know yet, but you obviously need to know that in order to do this.
Yeah. So from now on, I need to hone on that. I need to think about it more. But from now on, you can just apply, and it's a monthly commitment that you can cancel anytime. There's one free session, and it's per level. So if you don't know your level, we can assess your level. That's very easily done. We can have a call, and I'll tell you very quickly which group will fit you.
But I like that they can mark down their time zone. That's good. And then I see all this other general information.
Yeah. They will know about the schedule, so they will know that the schedule, but yeah, they have to be aware about the time zone. That's for sure. So assess your level. Also give us your level, and then
Would you want to ask somebody what their race and ethnicity is?
I know they're doing this here. It's very American way. I don't really care about that. I don't know why they're doing it. Probably they have very valuable reasons.
Just asking what is their native language.
Right, native language, and why they want to learn French. You know, what drives them in that journey.
I remember asking that in the beginning, and you didn't know. I was like,
yeah, but now I do ask.
Well, I'm glad. So,
and also, you know, what's their experience in French? You know, it's always great to know that. You know, and so yeah. So some of them, you know, they have a lot of experience. Some of them.
So, and then this is actually, I mean, it's impressive for Alt MBA that they're asking. I don't know if this is something you want to do, where they're asking what is the pronouns that they're comfortable with, because some people.
Right. I saw that too. It struck me.
This new world that we live in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also, you know, we're also an organization and we have values. So, you know, it might, you know, not be a great match for you. It might be a great match for you. Yeah.
All right. So I believe that the website does allow for this kind of thing to be created. I think so. So I'm going to look into that, so that my homework for next week will be.
I don't see you anymore. I don't know why. Is it because you're sharing the?
No, I think you shrunk down. If you shrunk down your screen, if you expand.
Yeah, I see you now.
So my homework for next week is going to be to create this application page for you, and the bio page for you. Those are the two things that I'll be creating.
Awesome.
The prices, I can create that too. I just need you to send me something that is complete. I can't be tweaking it or whatever so forth, because I've got the other two pages I'm doing. But if you can, I'm pretty sure you have that somewhere, because there was a page that you would send them to, right?
Yes.
The prices, yeah. So if you send me that information, then that can also go onto the site. Yeah. I think that the application thing will. I think that's something that's really good. I think that you're the website should tell everything that it possibly can. I mean, ultimately, I think that this is where I'll share with you what my vision is for you. Okay, short term. I have a long term, which I don't share with people because their brains start to explode with too much.
Now you get me curious.
But so the long term, I'll save that. But the short term is that on May 3rd, when you're having this wonderful celebration, right, of all these people who've come and so forth and whatever, that you're able to let them know, hey, and then we have the website, go take a look, there's all this stuff, blah, 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 whatever. And that the website, which should just be a month from now. What is today? The 2nd, right? Yeah. So a month from now is this wonderful celebration of you having reached out to all these people and so forth, and that the website will be done and complete so that people can look at it. Which 4 weeks from now, it will not only have this application thing and the prices and all that, but it'll have a really nice photo gallery of just different photos of different things, you know, that people can go ahead and look at, so they can get a visual feel for what it is you're trying to create of this French community. Because there's the thing, if you call it my French community, then people are going to want to see pictures of a lot of different people.
Yes.
So, and of course, on May 3rd, however many people are on there, you're going to say, I need everyone's permission so I can use this photo of everybody doing the little hearts thing that I.
And I want to emphasize that the forum is free. You don't need to be, you know, part of any group, like to have a physical assistance. And you can interact on the forum. You can create your own topics. You can reach out to folks in the community, ask for, I don't know, translation, recommendation, anything. I'm copying Seth Godin's method of generosity, of sharing with others, of being in a journey with others, and that's completely free. You don't need. Right now, I'm on a forum of Alt MBA alumni, It's amazing. It's amazing the value that I get from others. That's what I'm trying to create, but for folks who
I,
want to learn French.
I get that. And I think that you'll really be able to develop that once you have made a nice, clear path for somebody who is unknown to be able to come into the community. That's
And there's a lot of work to be done on the forum because it's a mess. I haven't been able to archive the categories and all that.
yes, well, all in good time. But for now, for any business is that you want to make sure that if anyone wants your services, that they can get it and understand it and get that clearly, right? So that's ultimately the
oh, man, I'm so grateful for your collaboration in this project.
Oh, and the thing is, and it is, I mean, look at now, like the website is developing very is developing a lot faster than I thought it would, to be quite honest. And I think and I did take Neela's suggestion as far as I made the colors softer. I looked at the site that she was talking about and I could understand what she was saying, but then like you said, you want it to be something that's more about the people, less about you and so forth. That's fine. So if you walk into let's say your French community is a giant house, okay, and there's all these people in the community having great time in the dining room, they're having fun in the living room, there has to be one room where they open it where it's all about Rafa and Isa, right? Just one room in the whole house, just one room in case that's what somebody needs. All the other rooms could be for everything else.
And other tutors who want
other tutors, and that was the other thing that I was going to tell you. It's like when people go to that About Us page and they see your information and with a bio and Isa's information bio. As me, if I was somebody who's interested in being an instructor, I want to know, how are you going to show me? How am I going to be showcased?
Listen to me. I don't want to own that forum. I want to make it user owned. And today I had a conversation with Jeff from he has had his own business ever since he was 22 and made millions out of it. He was so lucky, he told me, etc. And then 2008 came and his business went down, and then he started a journey in finance. He became a trader in a very hard industry within finance, and then he met someone but an amazing engineer. I don't want, basically I'm not sure if I can really reveal of that, but what he told me, and it struck me, he told me learn how to code smart contracts and look at that protocol which I had already been introduced to, called Celo, which have a very low gas fee structure, and I've had 38 applications on LinkedIn for, in my search of a potential partner. So like, I will not compensate monetarily, but in other ways. So it's something that really is, I'm thinking really about this seriously. So for tutors, I don't want to be your boss. I want to help. I want to give tools. I want to create a community, tools to people that they can reach out to each other, learners that they can. There's already lots of tools on the internet, but I believe in that one, and that is a method that was taught to me by Seth Godin's Health MBA. So it's kind of like a combination of things. I know it makes no sense at this point. I know it's like, you're crazy.
No, it makes a lot of sense, and I think for you, you're.
But in the short term, I have another path. I have to guarantee some sort of experience to the folks. So for that matter, maybe I'll have to have responsibility of the value that you bring to others. But you'll have tools. You'll have more. My goal is for me to create more value than to take from you.
Ultimately, yes, but your vision, it's huge. You have this great vision, fine. The issue isn't like, that the vision should be changed. No, not at all. It can be changed. What I learned is
when I'm in early stage of a business plan is a great moment for me to challenge it, to go and reach out. That's why I reach out to VC people. I have a friend here in New York, Alex, if you hear us. He is going to ask the hard question, the business model question, and all of that. So I'm more than happy to change. And even, but I have something, I think I have something. I'm not sure.
So, well, all right. So then let me ask you this. Somebody I noticed asked about, they said that they weren't going to be able to make the yogis. Is it yogis or yogai? I don't know how you pronounce
Yogis, yeah.
Okay. So the yogis, they're not going to be able to make the yogis thing because of whatever their schedule is like.
Autobiography of a yogi. Did you read that book?
No.
Okay, yeah. Never mind. It was the book that advised by or given by a big entrepreneur in the name of.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it. I mean, I saw the title, but I never heard it said out loud. So I didn't.
I keep on cutting you off. Go ahead.
They said that they couldn't make it. They weren't going to be able to make it to the thing on May 3rd. So I saw you were wondering whether or not perhaps you should change the time.
Right.
Which, no matter what time you pick, there's going to be people who can't make it.
Yes.
So, and it is once a month. So if that person can't make it.
But maybe, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe what I can do is I can do 2. So if it's, or I can do, in terms of time zone, I can do, May at, I'm not sure. That's a stupid, May at 12 noon Eastern time and June at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so that everybody's happy. I don't know.
No, this is what my suggestion to you. Okay.
Yeah.
May 3rd, 7:00.
Yeah.
Whoever can come will come.
Okay.
Right. Instead of trying to figure out what other times you could do it and changing it around and so forth, instead of putting your energy towards that, just put your energy towards making the people who do show up have as much fun and excitement as possible, and just let that be that.
Right.
Maybe you're able to record it. I don't know if that was your plan. And then if other people want to see and so forth, or maybe the people who go might not feel comfortable being recorded. So it's just like whoever shows up, it has a great time. They can tell their friends, blah, blah, and that's it. Right. So, because I used to be that way, like where I would say, well, I just didn't want people to miss out. I'm like, it's going to be so much fun. And it sucks that you can't be there. I wish you could be there. Well, maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do that. You know what? At the end of the day, you just want, if you make the time that you pick exciting enough and people love it, people will slowly bend their way towards that. And if they can't, then they can't. But you're already spread thin so much. Monday was your one day off, wasn't on that schedule, right? So just by you doing something on Monday is breaking into that one day that was not on your calendar.
So maybe I made a mistake, because in terms of design, so I concur, but in terms of design, I've been doing 1 p.m. Eastern time for the classes for a long time, and now for the party where everybody's welcome, everybody. Before I was doing 2 classes, noon and 6, when I was doing it for free, but lately I've kept
the reason why that the time you picked when we had the discussion, the reason you picked it in the evening was to really benefit people who stopped taking the classes, who have a job during the daytime, who haven't been around for a while. You're more likely to reach those people with something in the evening than you are during the day.
Generally, it depends on your time zone.
Well, sure.
So I've had people from Australia, India, Russia, England, Delaware.
There is no time zone that works for everybody's time zone. By definition, there is no such time zone.
I know. It's just I'm thinking in terms of consistency of what I've been doing the past 6 months. Okay. And it's been more around noon, 1 p.m.
You get more attendance around noon than you do in the evening.
For those who have been with me so far, but yeah, the past 6 months I've been doing that.
Let me ask you this: if on a Monday what time of the day on Monday do you think you would most likely get the most attendance?
Right, but Achilles, you have again the people who have stick with me and who started with me. I was doing, noon, 1 p.m. People from Turkey to
Right.
Eastern time. For them, it was at night. For some of them, it was at night. For some of them, it wasn't. So it's just in terms of being homogeneous. Should I keep that time because those who are likely to come are those who were with me or who attended when I was doing that type of schedule.
Okay. And that was around what time? That was like around noon, you said, or 1 o'clock?
Yeah, noon or 1. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think if you did it on May 3rd at 1 p.m., that there would be more people than if you did it at 7 p.m.?
So
Yes.
again, if so, I'm telling all the folks who have attended a session with me already
Okay.
that the goal is for them to catch up with each other. Then it's best for me to be homogeneous and keep it around noon on 1 p.m. Now, if I'm targeting new folks, I have no idea. I mean.
Oh, well, no, I mean, if the new folks are going to be a mystery no matter what. So if you think 1 p.m. is a stronger time in terms of like
those who,
it reached the most people at 1
alumni people, like people who have attended a session, either paid or not, or even
All right, so then this is what I suggest to you, because tomorrow is April 3rd, and this is on May 3rd.
Yeah.
So I would suggest you create, if you haven't already, the Zoom link.
I did.
Do you have that yet?
Yeah. I have the Zoom link. I have the LinkedIn event. I have the Facebook event.
And it also, all that already says 1 p.m.?
7 p.m.
Okay. So what you do is you send out an email to everybody, letting them know that it's 1 p.m., not 7 p.m.
Okay, yeah.
Just say it's going to be 1 p.m., whatever. The people who you already said 7 p.m. to, you could always say, hey, guess what? Sorry, guys, whatever, so forth. But,
and 1 p.m. is not that bad, even for people who are on a lunch break,
That's sure, yeah. But you send that to everyone, and of course on the website I'm going to put that it's at 1 p.m. Because right now I didn't have a time on there. The Zoom link won't be on the website, right?
I have the Zoom link. It could be there. I don't know. Actually, on Rise I posted a post and it's public already.
Rise is public, but I'm saying like somebody off of the street, you don't want them jumping into that Yogi's thing.
So
no,
the purpose, the purpose is for people who already kind of know each other or have been there. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, because and also keep in mind that this is the first time you're doing it. So a lot of this stuff, there'll be people who are going to people are going to be showing. And remember this idea I told you, because I did this for New Year's, and it was everyone had a good time. It was a disaster for me. Why? Because so many people showed up that didn't know each other. So like you say, you, the host, you have to finesse and so forth, and people trying to get into the thing, and this person, I'm trying to mute them because they have all this background noise and they walked away from the chair and like all that stuff that you deal with all the time, right? So
all VR is the solution, but yeah.
Oh yes, and which don't, once you present that to them, they're gonna love it because you see, because otherwise it can be so chaotic. But somebody who's on the site looking around for the first time, like, oh, maybe I'll take this class, maybe I'll do this. You don't want them to go to that Zoom as their first experience, because then they're going to be completely lost, and you can't attend to them directly, right? Yeah. So you just want to see what is the first one like, because believe me, once you do it the first time, you'll realize, all right, next time around.
Right. So it's private. They go to a waiting room, but the link is public, so I can see in the waiting room, because it makes it easy. I can see, okay, Seth is here, okay, Brady's here, okay. Andrew's here. Oh, Andrew and Seth and Brady, they don't know each other, but they probably have a great fit. They'll get to know other folks. They know Luda. They have people in common. Yeah.
And for the website,
Now in there, everybody.
Like let's say for baby warriors, right?
Steve, if you hear me.
If on that page, I feel like there should be something that says register now. Like if somebody just wants to sign up right away,
Yeah.
there should be a link for them to do that. I didn't know what link to send them to, or it should just end up being like them directly messaging you, like as in an email, or
Right. So since the spots are limited, what I was doing is I was having a conversation with them, knowing about them, validating that it's a good fit for them, and then sending in an email with all the details, all the costs, all the terms and conditions. That all of that will be on the website, and a link to process their payment, their subscription. And again, they can cancel that at any time. There's only a monthly fee.
so for Blueprint and for Alt French Workshop, on those pages at the bottom where I can put register now. When they click on that, it'll just be an email. A thing will pop up to email. They'll be emailing you directly saying, "I'd like to register for the Blueprint," and then they can just send that to you. That way, you reach out to them with all that information. Correct?
Right. They can do that, and they can also fill in a form and telling me about them. Also, that could be two
application.
options, two different options they can do.
Okay.
Yeah. And they receive an email back, and they can continue by,
because you don't.
I trust them. If they feel it's a good fit and there's a free spot, it's potentially a good fit. But usually they want to test it for free once, which they do. And then they're
we could give them the option to fill out the application, but they don't have to fill out that application in order to reach out to you and talk to you directly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but you're right. Giving them the option to, to go on with the payment if they want. I like giving people options. I like permissionless systems. If I want to buy some bread at this amazing bakery founded by a French person here called Chocopin, nothing stops me. The system allows me. It's permissionless. I walk, I go by, I give them a piece of paper that corresponds to the energy that they, put into that bread, and then I enjoy that energy when I eat it.
Giving them options is good, but it also can lead to more unnecessary work. So it
has to be filtered by there is a free spot there available, so you can do it, and then and then there's all the
I'll figure out the language
terms and conditions pick up from there. Terms and conditions and policy, this picks up from there. What happens if I'm unhappy? What happens, etc. All of this is laid out there. I worked with Joe, my lawyer here in New York, and when you subscribe, you actually have to click and agree on terms and conditions.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
And the website will have them.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Very simple.
Yeah. So the website will simply end up having them email you, and you will give them all that information with in terms of like the waiver, the liability, the acceptance of the fees, and all that good stuff.
Whenever they click on, they process the payment, they have to agree there. It's already in the system, even though it's not well done, but it's there. It's like every new member is like this now already. It's in the forum system, but yeah, we will have to replicate that on the website now, because that's the goal of the website.
Yeah, and the website has that
information,
has that ability. I don't do that stuff for my clients, but I have one that her website, she has people like, the website now will take credit card information. People buy all the stuff or whatever through the website, and it saves her a lot of now it saves her a lot of time, but took time to get that set up. But for now, we'll just have that functionality where it just goes, they can go ahead and reach out to you that way.
Yeah, and they'll receive an email automatically, like regardless, and they can even schedule a time if they want to call with me.
And there are things that, again, down the line, as we get these very basic pages finished with the photos and all the basic information, there are things like when people go on your website, we can have it so that the website brings up a little window saying, oh, is there something I can help you with or whatever, that you can interact with them right away. You know, you should get, when people go to your website, you'll get a little ping on your
I
phone.
know what you. I know about that.
Those chat boxes.
In our case, it's not necessary because it's so small at this point, and there's no really there's no service after. How do you sell that? Customer service. There's the customer service, you know, is done on a weekly basis. You know, this is a service. It's not a product. It's service. I'm there, and I'm a coach, and they get to experience every day, so they can tell me whether there's a problem or not. We can really easily we'll know it really quickly. We don't, if there's a problem, it's
okay. Yeah. And then the photo that of you that I like.
Okay.
You don't. Okay. Is there a professional photo of you that you do like? Because I feel like you look at that photo and you feel like that doesn't really capture your personality, and it doesn't. That's true. But
so I don't know if you noticed that I purchased an amazing item now, a new item here. It's life-changing. I see everything clearly. I mean,
you need glasses?
Not really. I think I was seeing really clearly, but even more so. But I didn't know that when you were putting glasses, it actually doesn't hurt you. Because I have another pair of glasses from my back in the days when I was in France, and I'm using them when I drive, and it hurts me a little bit when I take them off. This doesn't. I don't know what the docs did to me. She did an amazing job, and I can wear them for a long time, and I feel great with them.
Okay. I mean, I normally wear glasses, but I wear contacts if I have to go outside because the mask makes your glasses fog up, all that stupidity.
Yes.
But I think the glasses is a great look. I will also say though, when I kind of knew this before about you, but I didn't know for sure until yesterday when I was looking through all the photos. Every photo of you looks so completely different from all the other photos. One's big beard, one of the hair slicked back, the other the hair. I was like, he may as well be. If I put them all in the same Zoom, people would think it was 4 different people. Like, yeah. So, which is fine, but
I'm trying to find my look. So bear with me. I've got new glasses now.
and so with the glasses, I was like, okay, so here we have another look, which is fine.
But
if I had hair, I'd have different looks, I'm sure. But
yeah,
it's fine. But that picture, the reason I wanted it was I only wanted that one really for the bio, because that's the one that represents you as a business owner, right, or whatever. Fine. Another picture that looks a bit more like when I like just more clear, like with the good iPhone, whatever, right? Just a clear picture of you doing whatever is something that would be great as well, because the picture of you with the cat on that chair is, yeah, along with all the other things I've already said about it, it's not a very clear photo. It was kind of blurry. Yeah. So if
I'll
you
work on
speak it. Speak to your wife, okay? Yeah. She would know how to make you look sexy but not slutty. I'm sure as your wife, she's not going to have you be a little too much whatever.
Yeah, and I've also been experimenting lately with my, not only my beard but my hair. So I did that coiffure that Luda suggested to me, like to shave on the side and leave it long on the up. And I also bought some gel, and sometimes I use the gel. So I have all these experimentations in terms of look. So I feel you. I'm going to work on it like a more professional, like not only in terms of quality, but it doesn't need to be a whole stage photo shoot. It doesn't feel like that. Just like that day we were out on the roof, like so forth, like just a nice little, here's just a nice photo. Would have been fun. Would you recommend a suit like, or
I recommend a suit like this because you have the tie in that photo for the bio, which is fine. I'm thinking just a photo that captures just your personality. It looks a bit more casual and so forth. It's just really to contend with, like,
okay,
um,
yeah,
just something that looks
yeah,
that just has strong photo quality. The quality of the camera is what's also
yeah.
important here.
And maybe Ease I can do the same as well. Like we can have like kind of like a theme that represents our values and do
Yes,
it.
because the photo of her with the bouquet of flowers or whatever that was. Again, I was like, I don't understand why getting pictures is so hard.
That's just the best picture I have of her. I don't know, recent one.
I'm sure, and for women, it's tricky. They need a lot of preparation. They need to know ahead of
Yes.
time. Blah blah blah. I get that, but
Sambi did such a great job when we did a Facebook Live with the Baby Warriors. She was looking tremendously good. And Shambi, if you hear us, thank you so much for the postals.
I had to make an appointment to talk to Shambi on.
I know she's very busy, right? She's
Sunday. Sunday, I think it was at 2:00. I said maybe 5:00. Made an appointment to talk to her because she's just so busy, but she's good, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I think we did a great job today, and I have to also mention that I started reading your book, and it's such a great book that is really humbling for me in terms of being a seducer, basically an asshole sometimes in my past life, and having kind of like the perspective of the one who is being seduced. In that case, I'm assuming is autobiographic, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of times people who are the seducer, they think that what's happening, what they're doing, is something that the other person will forget. You know, that it's not something that's going to stay with them. They don't think it's that big of a deal. They don't think that it's going to be that memorable. I think a lot of times it's like that. I don't think that it's necessarily done with the intention to do harm, but they just think like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You know, they'll forget. And sometimes that's true. People might forget, but then there's other people.
The seducer, you mean, or the being seduced?
The person who is doing the seducing, the seducer. Like,
right.
You know,
they're lacking that empathy of, understanding that their actions have meaning. They have meaning. There's also like this, but I get that. I think there's like kind of like a fight power between a fight around the power and the values between the seducer and the being seduced, and sometimes they meet. When they start meeting, they are really at opposite sides, and one, just to be very simplistic, and it's not reflective of the truth, but the seducer is just an asshole and just wants what they want, let's say sex, and the being seduced wants the romance and wants the relationship, wants like solid foundations. They want to make sure that they're matching, and in terms of value, in terms of future together, like not just temporary.
But you see, this is for me, when I was writing this book, it was very, very much important for me to make clear in that coming together, you could say a seducer and one being seduced, or you could just say two people coming together and they each want something. This one wants to be loved. This one wants to get laid. Okay.
Yes.
So they have these two things. So it's not necessarily, oh, this one's an asshole and this one's an angel. It's that this one wants to be loved.
I agree. Yeah.
Now, the thing is, if all you want to do is get laid, it's very easy to go ahead, get together, you get laid, and then you move on.
All right, now
if you wanted to be loved, you needed this exchange, this experience to last a little bit longer. Right. Now, the person who is being seduced, which was like me, this is where it's like, it's my responsibility to read the signs for what they are. It wasn't like I was always tricked. Sometimes I saw only what I wanted to see.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes I ignored clues or amazing advice from people because I wanted what I wanted, and I didn't.
That's very well said. That's not ignoring reality.
Yeah, and it's like I wasn't always at the time. I thought I was really mistreated and I was tricked, I was manipulated, blah, 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 sure, at the time. But looking back, I'm like, what I wanted it so bad that I didn't want to be I didn't want to think of the reality. I was hoping, and the reason I wouldn't ask somebody, how do you really feel? Or do you want to be boyfriends? I didn't want to ask because I was afraid of the answer. If I'm afraid of the answer, that tells me already that maybe things.
It already does, yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, we all have to take responsibility for our part in.
Yes. Taking responsibility for your part, absolutely. And if you take that logic to the extreme, I'm going to say this: even though reality tells you that the relationship will not occur, you can give yourself whatever you want. You can give yourself the gift of loving the other, even if they don't love you. And it doesn't mean that you don't accept reality. You can completely accept reality that you are completely okay with not having a relationship with someone, but you can. So there is this ambiguity that can exist, and it's very extreme on the being seduced side, let's say, and on the seducer side as well. I'm it's about accepting and taking responsibility, but you can give yourself what you want. You can give that to yourself. You can give the love of someone who is no longer in your life, even, and who's dead. Someone who's dead. You can love them.
Well, and let me tell you something. Those people that are the seducers, and I know plenty of them, plenty. The ones who are this, if all you want is to get laid, to me, then you are setting up your life in a way that you aren't going to get love because you don't even have that door open. Now, that might not be important to some people, or maybe it would be. It just depends.
That's a self-destructive vicious circle. It is, you're trying to give yourself something, but the way you're doing it is not giving yourself anything. It's a fast pleasure that is never fulfilling. But sorry, I cut you off.
Sometimes they say, I'm mentioning love. There's I always remember this one guy who I dated for a couple of weeks, and then it didn't work out. Like, he was just too like, emotionally, he was not really present. He just was like, all he really wanted was, like, he just liked getting laid and just having fun, blah, blah. He didn't want to get, like, have any meaningful discussions. He didn't want a real relationship. He wanted something very, very casual, and I didn't. So, but we stayed friendly. It was no big deal. So then I found out that he had been in an accident, and then he was in the hospital. So I was like, oh my God, whatever. What hospital he's at? Oh, I think he's in so-and-so. So I go to the hospital and I go see him. So I go to this hospital. I hadn't seen him in a couple months. And he was so shocked that I was there. And guess what? I was so shocked that no one had gone to see him. His family wasn't living in Manhattan. And all of those people that he was hanging out with and hooking up with, no one cared that he was in the hospital. Even who told me, nobody went to go see him. He said, you're the first person to see me. And I was like, but you've been here for 4 days. And he'd been there by himself. And I think for him, it was such a crazy situation for him to realize the quality of life that he was having, which he didn't realize because he was having fun, getting laid, drinking, partying, clubs and whatever. But it's like, but when the pandemic happened and everybody all of a sudden, there's no bars and clubs, you just need an apartment. Who are your friends? Who do you want to connect with? Who can you reach out to? I think for some people, that's a bit of a wake-up call. Sure. So there's a lot of times that I got burned very badly from relationships and dating and stuff like that. Sometimes I was blind because I didn't want to see the truth. And sometimes I think they did a really good job tricking me. But
right.
But looking back, I think that at least I was always open to finding love and being in love. I was always open to that. There was never a time that I chose, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to get hurt. I'm not going to open up anymore. I never wanted to be that person. I always felt like, to me, that's an emotional death, I guess.
Right. Allow yourself to be defined by the future rather than by the past.
But but people get burned, and I understand why
people get burned. Yeah.
Talk to anybody who's been divorced. It's the worst.
People get burned, but I'm going to tell you this: you might have been tricked. As you said, you have to take responsibility for what for your part, even though you've got all the evidence. at some point you're still choosing to get burned. I know it's very radical, it's very extreme as an idea, but at least you choose to let that define your future. Whereas you can do the work of not letting that define your future and change the patterns, and because there's probably something you did, just like you're saying, you ignored that sign and you allowed somehow to get tricked. That if you change that, then
But
probably the result.
let's say, for example, I was tricked, right? There was no way I could have seen it, and I was tricked. The guy was very clever. I got tricked, and
Yeah, they are very clever. I know that.
They're very clever, sure. But guess what? So I got tricked. I got burned, and so forth. But I will not let one event, I will not let one experience define who I am. So if I was going to take a French class and I get a teacher who's absolutely awful and embarrasses me in front of the group or whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't be, is that going to stop me from learning French? No, I will not let one experience with one person define what my mission is, who it is that I'm trying to be. It's very easy to get locked like that because you don't want to get hurt again, blah, blah, whatever.
Stop dwelling on this, on the problem, and start dwelling on the solution. You get an accident, it's not your fault. You're all of a sudden in chair. Are you going to feel like you're a victim, or are you going to do something about it? Maybe it's a beautiful constraint. Just like I don't know who said this. Was it Brooke Castillo or Gretchen? But anyways, yeah, that they were going to go to have an eye operation, and there was a chance for them to become blind, and they were saying, "What's such?" Before the operation, they was saying, "That's a great. That might be a great thing for me to become blind. I'm going to experience all of these other experiences." So the way you think about the circumstances will influence your emotions, will in turn influence your decisions, and will in turn influence your life. You are your life. You have to take responsibility for your life. And yeah, there was something else you said. I forgot.
In therapy, that they psychiatrists and psychologists here in the United States, they used to be called shrinks. Like, oh, I'm going to go see my shrink. Was a term that they used for therapists, and it was because the idea was that if you go to therapy, a psychologist is going to show you how to shrink your problems so that they don't seem that bad, right? And I remember reading something where someone was explaining, like, instead of trying to shrink the problem, because sometimes the problems are, significant. You might have lost somebody who was close to you. You might have lost whatever. Instead of trying to shrink the problem, why not start to think of yourself as being bigger than the problem? Like, that's the thing. It's like, okay, so I had this relationship, it ended very badly and so forth, but I'm bigger than that. My life is bigger than just the ending of one relationship, no matter how significant that person.
Exactly. And it all starts with awareness. And if you want to develop that, there's something called meditation, where you just observe your thoughts so that you can distantiate yourself from the thought. And then you can start that journey of modifying that thoughts. And the second point is, so the shrinking is completely wrong. The shrinking is completely wrong because meditating is about, first of all, you have to be aware of that thought. So you have to allow them, not frustrate them. The opposite is what happens to the seducer, who's only interested in hooking up, just like an alcoholic person is just interested in numbing their feeling, never resolving them. There is something like that in porn addiction, that you just want to, and hooking up, you just want to numb your frustration that is deeply rooted in you, and you end up in this vicious circle. And I'm not saying it's easy to break that circle.
Your whole life into this one 10, 15 minute or like a couple hours of being drunk. You reduce your whole life down to just this one moment of me feeling good, only because I'm not thinking about all the rest of the issues and stuff that's in my life. I just in this time period, only in this one particular thing. But what happens? So at some point you sober up. At some point you wake up and realize, okay, I have to pay the bills. I'm in this relationship, or I live in this house or this town or whatever, or have this job. Reality is always going to be there. And that's where the addiction starts to feel like, well, let me just drink some more, do more drugs.
It's destructive. It's destructive. In your case, in your example, your friend, wake up call. He's got this accident, and nobody comes except you, the only person who has values, and he doesn't know you that much. That tells a lot about him having been in that destructive, vicious circle, that he never built long-lasting relationship. He never built value for himself. He never processed his frustration. He was numbing it with that pattern, and allowing the past to define himself. He didn't take responsibility. And I'm not saying it's easy. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of motivation, a lot of introspection, a lot of meditation, a lot of it's but life is like this, guys. It's infinite. It's an infinite game. If you want to be on a direction, you have to put in the energy to keep on being on that direction. And the minute you don't, my wife is, I don't know what she's doing. But anyways, I have to go to the bathroom. I've been meditating on my lower parts for, I think, half an hour now.
Okay.
I don't know. It's such a great conversation that I enjoyed it.
Yes, I think maybe next Friday I'll probably have like a glass of wine with it, because I feel like this.
Yeah. And I have to say, go and read Achilles' book. It's not only for a special niche of person. I enjoy the book. I haven't finished it, and I intend to finish it. And I laugh so much all the time. Man, you make us laugh. You have that gift. And here my cat Bushman on this chair wants to say hello. Hi guys.
Oh my God, that cat.
he is something. Yeah.
All right, well then, so I have my homework, and your homework, of course, is you'll send me the prices, and you'll send me a photo of you and Isa.
Yeah.
And then we'll reconvene on Friday.
Yeah, that's great. Merci beaucoup, Achilles.
And
Surtout, garde ta flamme intacte. No matter what, keep it burning. Keep the flame burning.
Yes, 100%, 100%. All right, so I'll let you go to the bathroom. I'll talk to you later.
Merci beaucoup, Achilles.
All right, bye.
Namaste.